Hello, all you beautiful gamers out there. It is I, Totem Lord, and today I wanted to do something a little different on the channel. Today I wanted to talk about a video game I played through recently called Breath of Fire, the original in Capcom's RPG series that came out here in the US, and I'm sure it came out in other places too. Now, Breath of Fire was a game I did not seek out. It's not one, usually whenever I see games, I look at them and um, I get really excited for them, but this was actually something I kind of just stumbled upon. Um, Usually late at night when I was getting ready for bed, I would put on my Switch and I went to the Nintendo Switch Online. Well, they recently added Breath of Fire 1 and 2 to the service, which I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I've heard of Breath of Fire, I know of its reputation. So I popped it in, I gave it a shot. And after about 10 hours, I found out that I was really enjoying it. So I kind of went crazy, and I went through and I bought every single one of them. Even this one. And oh man, am I broke now. Some of these are a pretty penny. But it should be worth it because I'm super excited. I've completed one, working on two. And from what I've researched, it sounds like it's a pretty fantastic series, and it has quite the following. But yeah, Breath of Fire was not something I planned on playing, but now that I have, it's really sparked my retro RPG thirst right now. So, and what is a YouTube if we don't go over a little bit of the history? Breath of Fire is a game that's made by Capcom. However, it came out in Japan, but it initially was, I believe, Capcom did not have the money to publish them here. So SquareSoft took it upon themselves and published it here in the United States. North America actually is probably a bit more accurate, which is why, if you notice here on the cover, you'll notice on the bottom, right below Ryu's hand there, it says SquareSoft. It's blurry on my end, but hey, Google an image, you'll get the exact same result. Alright, but let's break this game down into a couple categories, shall we? Let's go over some graphics, music, gameplay, and we'll just go over characters in general, and then probably some, just a few other things I'd like to talk to towards the end here. So, let's go over graphics. To be honest, I'm really not like a big graphics guy. If they look nice, they look nice. If they look horrible, I can tell you that. But I think for a 16-bit game, the graphics look just fine. I mean, you're in a medieval-ish type of world you're going through. Yada yada yada. But here are a couple things that stick out to me personally. I actually personally enjoyed the portraits that they gave the characters. Instead of just taking their sprite from the battle, they actually gave them a picture portrait for the status screen, which I thought was a really nice, which I thought was really cool. But the thing here that sticks out to me were battle animations. Back in the 90s, when RPGs weren't really a big thing, most of the time you just saw characters and text, and that's about it. Sometimes you'd see like a bit of fire here and there. Final Fantasy steps us up a little bit by having characters swing the swords, or actually get to see them chanting for the spell. But Breath of Fire takes that a little bit further in a way, because you actually get to see the characters move over towards the enemies and thwack them, which I thought was really cool. I didn't expect that in an early 90s RPG, so that's something that definitely sticks out. Each character does their own animation, so I thought that was just a nice little touch. Although, unlike Final Fantasy, you don't get to see them casting their spell. I mean, they're not just going to be sitting there mumbling them, doing their little hand gestures, whatever, so. But you know what, the battle animations I thought were super cool. Alright, music. Music was something, I think it fit the game absolutely perfectly. While there's no tracks that really stick out, it's not going to offend your senses. It's nothing that's going to blow you away. There are a few tracks that were really nice to listen to, and to be honest, none of the tracks overstayed their welcome, which was really nice. In fact, most RPGs, you get sick of hearing the battle theme or the overworld theme because you're spending so much time there. One thing Breath of Fire did that I thought that was really neat is partway through your adventure, the overworld theme changes. I thought maybe it was just like a different area I was in, but no, you travel back to the beginning of the game or anywhere previous, and the overworld theme has in fact changed. I thought that was really nice. And it goes for the battle themes too. There was no way to backtrack and check battles, so it was just changed. They actually do this twice, so you get 3 overworld themes. I think it was 3 overworld themes. I might be mixing up with Breath of Fire 2 at this point, which I'm going through. But yeah, the music fits the game great. It's really nice to listen to, and themes do change, which is really... Before we go into gameplay, let's actually talk about the characters and the story, which I'd just like to say right now that the game is definitely Capcom's very first RPG, because it feels, to sum it up in a word, it feels very basic. It's a very simple story of the Dark Dragons come along, and you're part of the Light Dragon clan, and they destroy your village, attempting to wipe you out, and it's up to the hero to go and save your sister and basically avenge the town. Take care of the Dark Dragons to restore balance, whatever. It's nothing you haven't heard before. But really, as you go from place to place, none of the characters you meet have a whole lot of personality, and in fact, I wasn't really sure why half of them even joined you. I won't go into that too much, but yeah, by the end you have 8 characters, and they just kind of follow you because why not? Let's go save the world. Bored. However, let's go over plus here. The characters not only have their own unique, the characters not only have their own set of spells, but each one of them has a unique overworld ability. For example, Ryu can fish. You can get unique items from that. Nina's doesn't come late in the game, but she can transform into a bird. Spoiler. But that's really not a spoiler, because shortly after you meet her, you can see that her entire clan has this ability to transform into birds. Let's see, who else do we have got? Bo, he can not only lead you through the forest, but he can also hunt, not enemies, he can hunt these random animals that pop up on the map, which really confused me, because at the beginning, you have these random animals, and when you get close to them, they run away. But when Bo comes along, you can hunt them down and you can collect extra items, which was, I thought, kind of a neat touch. Gobi, he has the ability to turn into a fish, but not until later, and he's mostly useless, and I hated him. But he can sell items, because his entire clan is known as being merchants. There's a special spot where you can stop and you can sell your items, and sometimes people sell you items, but I hated this character so much I didn't even bother. Ox has the ability, who's this big lumbering guy, has the ability to smash through walls. I thought that was just fun. There's just something satisfying about that. There's a character that joins you named Blue, who's part snake, part woman, a really powerful sorceress. I don't think I ever figured out what her overworld ability was. And then finally, you get a character named Magu, who is part mole, and he has the ability to dig, which was... I don't know, it felt very rushed. It felt like it was just kind of thrown in there. However, there are character abilities that... My problem with this is the game doesn't explain it. I didn't have a manual when I played this game. So, to be honest, the fact that Ryu could fish, I did not know that at all. You get a fishing pole if you choose to buy it and some bait, but it doesn't tell you where to fish. It doesn't tell you what to do. In fact, the only reason why I ever did fish is because I read online on how to get, better items and just dragon transformations. Yes, I cheated just a little bit. Maybe not cheated, but used a guide because, hey, I'm a busy adult and I have a family and I work. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, the game doesn't really tell you about fishing at all. It just kind of assumes that you'll figure it out. Another character was Bo. I honestly thought his only ability was to be able to traverse through the forest. It wasn't until I discovered it by accident that he could hunt, because when I hit, I think the A button, or maybe it's the B button, but he shoots off an arrow and really threw me off. I was like, what? And then when I saw the animals, I knew to, shoot the animals, because that's in our instinct as human beings to kill. But yeah. Other than that, Gobi's useless. Don't play him. He stayed out of my party. He stayed out of my party along with Magu. Those two characters were just absolutely horrible. Alright, let's get down to the gameplay, shall we? I won't go too much into detail about the gameplay. It is, like I said, it's your basic RPG. You can attack, there's magic spells. Not all magic spells are unique. There are characters that for some reason have some spells, which you wouldn't expect them to. For example, Ox, who's this big lumbering tank of a character, has the ability of Tier 3, or, you know, the third strongest tier spell, which is kind of off-putting, but kind of a welcome addition. I didn't really feel like most characters had too many unique abilities, except Gobi had unique abilities that for some reason could only be used underwater, and you're underwater for about maybe 10% of the game, so he's useless. Don't use him. He's terrible. But find out for yourself. I'm sorry, Gobi. I'll leave you alone for the rest of the review. But, yes, probably the two things that really stand out about the gameplay is, there's an auto battle. There's an auto battle option in the game, which, it's nothing special. It's just every character will just attack until you hit the B button, or until the battle ends. Which I kind of thought was nice, because there are times when you want to save your spells, or, you know, maybe you're getting low on magic, or maybe just supplies in general, and you just want to get through the battles. The only problem is that it was heavily abbreviated down to AB for auto battle. So if I hadn't just been tinkering around and decided to push that, you know, randomly, there's no way I would have figured it out. But another unique thing about the game is Ryu transforms into a dragon, which I thought was very interesting. I mean, yes, he is part of the Light Dragon clan, but that's something you really didn't see in RPGs, so I thought that was kind of neat. It was pretty cool, and some of the dragon transformations you get are kind of badass, and they even come with their own little cutscenes, so that was kind of a cool thing in an RPG to see. Alright. To wrap this up, there are just a few other things I want to talk about. Probably which make this game not bad, but kind of cringy. And that is the fact that this game is heavily abbreviated to the point where it was just funny. Like, I could not imagine playing this game when it first came out without a book. Because, so check this out. On OfferUp, when I was about 75% of the way through the game, I managed to pick up the map, I managed to pick up the items, which would have been super useful when I was playing this. But you either have to be determined, check this out on Google, own this, or just have a lot of imagination about what some of these things do, what they are. I don't know why it's so abbreviated, but some of them aren't that bad. Like, let's look at the list of swords. We have long SD, long sword, I suppose. We have wing SD, wing sword. Okay, it's making sense. Right there, we see some consistency. Then we have short RP. Okay, well, Nina happens to use rapiers, so it must be short rapier. We have poison RP. Okay, we're sticking with that theme. Perfect. But then, let's see, what are some of the more confusing ones? Because these are just, like, freaking laughable. Oh, we got the rang. Not the boomerang, it's just the rang. And yes, it is in fact a boomerang. And then later in the game, you find a B-rang along with a tri-rang. Some of these feel really lazy, but looking back, it is so funny and so amazing to look at. Like some of the enemy names here. Where was one that I really loved? Let's see. Oh, we got a lizard that has armor on and a sword. It's called a Zard. Not a lizard, a Zard. I thought that was amazing. Another amazing enemy here, where you fight a fly. Literally just a fly. I don't know why you're even bothering with those. And then, where was it? Underwater, you fight this mean-looking fish thing called Fishy. Yep, just Fishy. Great name there. It's as if they couldn't figure out names of some of these, and they just asked Mark, the guy down the hall, "Hey Mark, what's a good name for this?" "Well, let's name it a Zard." "Thanks, Mark." Great. Yes. Now, what's really frustrating about this game is our items. And give me me just a sec here. Where'd it go? For items, you have a really hard time figuring out what anything is. Some of them are obvious. You have the herb, you have antidote, or A-N-T-D-T, antidote. Like I said, you have to have imagination to figure out some of these. Life 2, yeah, you can figure that out if you played an RPG before, which at this point, hopefully you have. But this abbreviation here, there's 3 of them, which is abbreviated as MRBL. The best I could figure out was Marble, because some of them you just give up. But you have Marble 1, you have Marble 2, and Marble 3. Let's see what they do. Marble 1, use this item in a fight for a strong blow. Okay, that's pretty cool. Marble 2, this item causes a stronger blow. Causes a stronger blow than Marble 1. Ooh, sweet. What's Marble 3? It's probably going to clear the entire screen just to be this badass item. Marble 3, keep enemies away for a short time with this item. What? Where's the consistency? I ask you. But yes, the Marble 1, 2, and 3. And then for fishing, you got worm, these are actually spelled out. There's worm, worm 2, shrimp, urchin, and then the best and most expensive fishing bait in the game was a shell. I don't understand. Okay, and then to increase a warrior's attack power, Proton A, or P-R-O-T-N, capital A. I mean, I get that A stands for attack, but what the heck is proton? I don't know. An antler, you get that from whenever Bo hunts down or whenever he shoots like a deer with his arrow. You get an antler. You wanna guess what that does? This item cures poison. Of course it does. Why wouldn't it? Alright, I'll wrap this up because I don't want to go over a lot of these and bore you guys because I know that these videos are just me talking a lot. So, my 2 favorite ones was Vitamin. Now, Vitamin you find in this gold city, and the in-game description for this was, the use for this item is obvious. Yeah. This is actually not too much, this isn't really much more helpful, but it says, use this special elixir as an antidote. It doesn't cure poison. It cures somebody of a hangover in the game. Yeah, I kid you not. A vitamin, which is obvious, cures somebody of a hangover. And the last item I want to go over, this item made me laugh for like a few minutes. I don't know why. It's silly. It's there's a part in the game where you get shrunk down by the boss of the tower, and you find these mice. Well, they come and talk to you because of course they can talk, and cockroaches have taken all their food supply, so it's up to you to help them. And after you help them, they give you the item called M. Kira, which puts you back to your normal size. And M. Kira stands for Mouse Kira, and I thought that was like the most cutest thing, the most adorable thing ever, so Mouse Kira is indeed a thing. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. So my final thoughts on Breath of Fire. It's a fine RPG, and it's actually kind of kept me going on my retro RPG fix, which has been a blast to play. I'm currently working on number 2, and I'll give my thoughts on those. Probably not on the next video because I'm not quite there yet. So, but yes, if you have the Nintendo Switch Online, I recommend giving Breath of Fire at least, give it a shot for at least a good, I'd say at the very minimum 5 hours. If you're an old school gamer like me, I think you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it. There's lots to be had here, but be warned, it is very basic, and you might need a guide to figure out just what the heck does what. So, alright, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for checking me out, and I will judge you next time.